Today, we are digging into something really fascinating. It's the science and the psychology behind why some homes just feel right the second you walk through the door. And I'll tell you right now, it's not magic. It's actually a design strategy, and it's rooted in things that are surprisingly primal: nature and history.
You know that feeling, right? You walk into a space for the very first time, and there's this immediate sense of ease, of comfort. Like, yeah, I could belong here. So what is it? What's creating that powerful, unspoken connection?
Well, it really boils down to this. A home tells a story. And the best spaces, the ones that really sell, they don't just sit there looking pretty. They invite you in. They make you want to become a character in their story. So today, we're going to break down exactly how you can craft a story that potential buyers just can't resist.
It all kicks off with that welcome home feeling. But here's the thing you have to remember. That feeling is no accident. It is a completely deliberate design choice that taps into the unique vibe of a home's local environment, whether that's the rhythm of the coast or, the weight of its history. Because we're talking about something that goes way beyond just decoration. When you start incorporating natural textures or highlighting those cool historic details, you're building a genuine emotional bond with a potential buyer. And that connection, that often translates directly into faster sales and, better offers.
So, what is this secret ingredient that makes that connection so strong? Well, it's time to pull back the curtain and look at the hidden code that our brains are literally hardwired to love.
And the answer is something called a fractal. Now, a fractal is simply a pattern that endlessly repeats itself at different sizes. You can think of it as nature's building block for creating harmony and complexity all at the exact same time.
And once you start looking for them, you see these patterns absolutely everywhere. I mean, think about the elegant, repeating spiral of a seashell.
Or what about how the branches of a tree split into smaller and smaller versions of themselves? From the big trunk all the way out to the tiniest little twig.
And of course, that constant repeating rhythm of waves crashing on the shore. These are all fractals in action.
And here is the really incredible part, the psychological effect of this. A buyer might not know the word fractal. They probably don't. But their brain absolutely recognizes that pattern. It senses that natural harmony. And that is what makes a room feel balanced, dynamic, and truly alive.
Okay, so we get the what? Fractals. Cool concept. But how do we actually use this to stage a home? Well, this is all about translating that hidden code into a real, tangible design that has, for lack of a better term, local soul. This whole approach really rests on two main pillars. So on one hand, you've got coastal influence, which is all about bringing those calming, rhythmic patterns of the shore inside. And on the other hand, you have historic charm, which uses a property's architectural roots to create this powerful sense of authenticity.
So for that coastal feel, think about things like using driftwood, or maybe some vases filled with sea glass, or even artwork that mimics tidal patterns. All these little things subtly echo the natural rhythm of the ocean, and that creates a really deeply calming effect.
And with historic charm, you're tapping into the very same principle. You're finding the built-in patterns. So by highlighting the repeating curves in an arched doorway, or the geometry of exposed beams, or those intricate repeating details carved into an old mantel, you're showing off the home's original character. It creates this feeling of timelessness that makes a space feel both grounded and totally unique.
All right, so let's paint a picture of how this all comes together. Imagine a living room, right? You've got a rug on the floor with a pattern that looks like waves, and then hanging above it a chandelier that branches out like coral. You see, these aren't just random decorations. They are super intentional choices that weave nature's code right into the fabric of the room.
Okay, this all sounds really wonderful in theory, but does this strategy actually deliver? Let's take a look at how creating this sense of harmony really pays off in the real world.
So get this. Here's a powerful case study. A coastal property staged with these exact principles, nautical textures, repeating patterns. It didn't just sell. It sold within days, and it attracted multiple offers that were all above the asking price. That is not luck. That is the direct result of a smart, emotionally resonant strategy.
At the end of the day, when a home feels authentic and deeply connected to its surroundings, it just stands out from the crowd. Buyers see that authenticity as real value, and that feeling directly impacts the bottom line. It's a strategy that is both beautiful and profitable.
Because you're not just selling four walls and a roof. You're selling a feeling, an experience. You're selling a lifestyle. When a buyer can walk in and immediately feel the calm of the coast or the strength of history, they are no longer just looking at a house. They are imagining their future in it.
Because every single space tells a story.
whether we design it to or not. So the question I want to leave you with is this: what story is your space telling? And maybe more importantly, what story do you want it to tell?